Hello and welcome. You're watching To The Point. In an article written over the weekend, Shashi Tharoor has accused the government of causing deep embarrassment to India by its campaign to ban the BBC documentary on Nirbhay. The government, on the other hand, has stood its ground and insists it's done the right thing. So in part 2, we present a debate between Shashi Tharoor and Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar. But first, the release of Masarrat Alam has not only created an enormous controversy, but also a considerable rift between the BJP and the PDP. So tonight we ask, was Mufti Muhammad Saeed justified in releasing Masarrat Alam? Is it envisaged by the Agenda for Alliance, or has he acted impetuously and endangered his own coalition? Joining me now to discuss Masarrat Alam's release and its consequences is BJP spokesperson Sambit Patra, PDP spokesperson Firdaus Tak, Congress spokesperson C.R. Kesavan, and the well-known Kashmiri academic and former Vice-Chancellor Siddique Wahid. Firdaus Tak, Mufti Muhammad Saeed's decision to release Masarrat Alam has been widely criticized, but much more importantly, it's upset and it's embarrassed the BJP, your ally. What's your justification for taking this controversial step?
Yes. The problem with I am having an audio problem here.
I don't think you can hear me clearly. Did you hear me, Firdaus Tak?
Yes, Karan. I'm hearing you now.
What's your justification?
The entire country wants to implement the decision of the Honorable Apex Court when it comes to the hanging of Afzal Guru. But at the same time, the country thinks that the Apex Court ruling is not binding on the state when it comes to the release of Masarrat Alam.
What is the Apex Court ruling that you're referring to? For those who don't know this ruling, can you explain this ruling? Which is the ruling you're referring to, which refers to this gentleman? With
regard to the Masarrat Alam release, there is a directive by the Honorable Apex Court that when the state has to further detain Mr. Masarrat Alam under Public Safety Act, that should not be done on the same ground which were available to the state government 4 years back. The state government has complied to the directives of the Supreme Court and has implemented the law. And we are being questioned for implementing the Honorable Supreme Court's directives.
Can I interrupt?
Taking a decision which
can I
is
interrupt?
legal.
Are you therefore saying that this is a decision that was forced on you by the Supreme Court ruling? You have no choice, otherwise you would be in breach and in contempt of the Supreme Court. Is that your position?
That is our point right from the beginning. That is what we have been telling even the BJP. BJP has been criticizing us from the day one without knowing the basic fact. Even they know that there is an Apex Court direction, because in your program and in other programs, the BJP spokesperson on the first day has admitted that there is a directive from the Honorable Supreme Court. The problem is, under Public Safety Act, we can detain a person for 6 months, initially for the 6 months, and then there is an advisory board. Advisory board decides that there is further apprehension that the same person is maybe creating the disturbances. The PSA is extended for another 6 months.
Okay.
Same procedure is being adopted by the state government from last 4 years. Then Alam has gone to Supreme Court. Supreme Court said that the state government has to look into the matter, that the same ground he has not to be detained again. So how can we defy the Supreme Court directive?
Absolutely. So what you're saying in a nutshell, and give me a yes or no, is that this is not a decision of Mufti Muhammad Saeed's volition. He had no choice. He had to act because this is a Supreme Court order that he's observing. Is that right?
Karan, in Jammu and Kashmir, what the previous government has been doing, and what earlier national Congress has been
I'm
doing
simply asking for clarification.
No, please.
Firdaus Tak, I'm asking you for clarification. Let's not go back to the previous government. I'm simply asking for clarification before I go to the BJP. You're saying to me that the Chief Minister is...
everything in...
I'm asking you a simple question.
Allow me to speak.
Yeah,
I am clarifying it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Previously, what was being done is that even if there is a court direction and even if law does not permit it, people were being put behind the bars despite getting bail. The Public Safety Act had always been used illegally in Jammu and Kashmir, and that is what PDP has always been against too.
Okay.
This, even if 2002, we had said clearly that a person has a right to defend himself before the court
for the
illegal act he has done.
Let's not go back into history. I want to stick to this instance because you made a very clear case. You've made a very important statement that I want to put to Sambit Patra. Sambit Patra, what you've heard is very similar to what the Home Minister was saying today in Parliament. He said, in fact, that there is a court ruling that a person cannot be detained under the Public Safety Act for more than 2 years under the same charge. Therefore, when you hear Mr. Tak and earlier when you hear the Chief Minister say that it is perfectly legal to release him because they are doing so under a Supreme Court directive, what they are saying is, you don't have a second charge to detain this man. You've detained him already for 2 years. You run up against that barrier put down by the Supreme Court. Therefore, they have no option under the law but to release him. Do you accept that?
I mean, Karan, the word that you used right now to address Firdaus Tak by saying that I am asking for a clarification is the word that Mr. Rajnath Singh, the Home Minister of the country today, used on the same issue. When he said that, well, yes, we had asked for the reason of release of this man called Alam, and there has been correspondence from between the state and the center. We have asked for a clarification because there are certain loopholes we are not completely satisfied. Only after the clarification comes, we would be able to draw a line whether we are satisfied or not.
I understand.
And if we are not satisfied, then we are going to issue a strong worded advisory to the state as well as put by the Home Minister.
But hang on a second. You're asking for a clarification, and if in the clarification when it comes you discover that in fact the Mufti has acted in accordance with the Supreme Court ruling, that had he not done so, he would be in breach and contempt of the court. In other words, this wasn't a decision of his volition. He had no choice but to release Alam because the Supreme Court has said that you cannot detain a man for more than 2 years under the same charge under the PSA. And therefore, since you don't have a second charge, you have to release him. If you get that clarification, you're going to have to accept it. You're going to have to say this was correct. You're going to have to say that you agree with it. You have no choice.
Karan, two things in this. No one in a sane panel, no Indian would ever run down a Supreme Court's verdict. Definitely, we cannot run down the Supreme Court verdict. Number two, what Mr. Firdaus Tak is speaking today would have been good if their representative, either Mufti Sahab or Mehbooba Mufti, would have spoken the same lines. But you would be aware of the fact when this was asked to Mehbooba Mufti, what she said was, contrary to what Mr. Firdaus Tak is saying, she did not quote any Supreme Court's verdict. Rather, she said that let the state be governed in a way we best feel to govern because we know how peace can be brought in.
True.
So having said this, I would still wait for the clarification from the state before commenting.
I want to go back to you, Firdaus Tak, because there's a very good point made there by Sambit Patra. You've given me a very convincing answer because you're suggesting that the Mufti had no choice but to act because otherwise he'd have been in breach of the Supreme Court. And this echoes what the Home Minister was saying, at least in part, in Parliament. But when Mehbooba Mufti speaks, and to be honest, when Naeem Akhtar speaks, and they've both been on television, they've taken a very different line. They haven't put across this argument. Why?
No, the question is, my colleague from the BJP, the day one we were together in one of the news channels, this is the same line he had said at that time.
But this is not what Naeem Akhtar said on television yesterday. Naeem Akhtar on television yesterday was arguing that in fact the release is envisaged in the alliance agenda for alliance. That's a different line of argument.
Yes.
The truth is, you're saying to me, you're saying that this is a release that had to happen regardless of the agenda because the Supreme Court has laid down the rules and if you don't follow them, you'll be in breach. You're saying something very different. Hence my question. Why are you saying one thing? Why is Mehbooba and Naeem Akhtar saying another?
No, this is how the stand of the party, the state of the government is almost clear on this. There is no difference in the stand taken by Mr. Naeem Akhtar,
no, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Our party president.
No, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
The question is no, I'm not wrong on it.
You are wrong.
This is sometimes this is how you ask a question and how the person is replying.
Oh, please.
To it.
The question
right
asked of Naeem Akhtar was a simple one. How do you justify the release?
Right,
he gave a completely different answer to the one you're giving me. It's got nothing to do with the question.
Kindly, kindly refer to my statement. Kindly refer to my statement made today.
Yes, but Naeem Akhtar
that
happens to be the
every
chief
political
spokesperson.
party in Jammu and Kashmir want us to implement Public Safety Act illegally, as was being done previously.
I've heard your
we are not doing it.
I've heard your explanation. You're only muddying the waters further by insisting that you and Naeem Akhtar and Mehboob Mufti were saying the same thing when clearly you weren't. Let me bring in an independent observer, Siddique Wahid. There's no doubt that when Naeem Akhtar was asked yesterday repeatedly, he said that this release was envisaged in the agenda for alliance. That was the argument he gave. He didn't refer once to a Supreme Court ruling. He didn't refer once to the fact that you can't keep someone under detention under the PSA for more than 2 years under the same charge. Now, you first heard this from the Home Minister, although not as clearly as Mr. Tak has now made it on the show tonight. Why is the PDP saying different things in different places? Because they're confusing the issue for themselves.
Well, I don't know, and I can't answer for the PDP on this. But I didn't see the show yesterday with Naeem Akhtar on it. I think that it's very simple. I mean, was it or was it not within the purview of the law for Mufti Muhammad Saeed to release Masrat Alam? Number one. Number two is that is it a state subject within the framework of the constitution of the state and so forth. And if those two, the answer to those two is yes, I don't think there is much to discuss.
Absolutely.
And I think,
absolutely.
And
Can
I think
interrupt?
that is what we have to wait for.
Absolutely. Can I interrupt? If it is the case, as you've heard Firdaus Tak say, that the Mufti had no choice, he'd have been in breach of the Supreme Court if he hadn't released him. That is what, in fact, Naeem Akhtar and others should have been saying. Correct. Instead of claiming that this is somehow envisaged in the agenda for alliance, which is a very different argument.
Well, from a broad point of view, I would say that it is, I mean...
Well, we'll come to that in a moment's time. But what I'm saying is, the convincing answer is the Supreme Court one. The questionable answer is whether it's covered by the agenda for alliance, and they gave the wrong answer. When they had a convincing one, they gave the unconvincing one instead. Don't you agree?
Well, yes. I mean, if that was the case, yes.
Let me bring you in at that point, Mr. Kesavan, because the other thing that's being said is that, in fact, right through the period when Omar Abdullah was in power in a coalition with your party, the same Supreme Court ruling was being breached. That ruling applied earlier as well, but disregarding that ruling, you continued to keep Masrat Alam under detention under the PSA when you know that you aren't allowed to do so for more than 2 years continuously under the one single charge. So you're guilty of ignoring the Supreme Court ruling. Maybe if Mr. Tak is correct, the Mufti is the first one to observe it.
You know, you are completely working on speculations and assumptions here, and it was not just once the Public Safety Act was slapped on Mr. Alam, it was many times, and I think the NC Congress government adhered to the rule. But the more important point here, Karan, is today what you saw with the Prime Minister and the Home Minister and the BJP central leadership was that conveniently they tried to shirk responsibility.
No, Mr. Kesavan, I asked you a question about Congress. Please stick to that. I'll repeat it. What the Home Minister revealed in Parliament today...
I answered the question very clearly.
You didn't. The Home Minister made a specific point. He said the ruling from the court is that you cannot be detained under PSA for more than 2 years under the same one charge. Therefore, it follows that if you don't have a second charge and you've already detained the man under the PSA for 4 years, you've been in breach of the Supreme Court ruling for 2 whole years. That breach of 2 years happened when Congress was in power. So I ask you, were you disregarding the Supreme Court?
If that was the case, let me complete. If that was the case, why didn't Mr. Alam go to the court? Why did they were open to legal recourse? They could have gone to court. Again, I'm telling you, everything is being based on the presumption of Mr. the PDP spokesperson's argument here. But let me tell you, you're not clear either whether that is the case, and neither the PDP is. And they're doing double speak. No. Let me just point this. So having made that clear, because I'm very sure that we stuck to the legal ground, but the issue here is simple, and let me complete that because I waited, Karan. Today the crux is this: you have a central government saying they were not consulted. They're saying they're accepting they're clueless. On the other hand, they're having righteous indignation, and they're saying they condemn it. How can you, hoodwink the nation? How can you condemn it when you're sitting in the same government? You have 5 ministers of the BJP sitting in the Jammu and Kashmir state government, and they say we are clueless and we are helpless. I mean, this is classic case of Janus-faced dubious policy of double standard. Your program's name is what do you say, your CMP of contradictions. No, this is not a case of contradiction. This is a case of double speak and double standards.
Okay.
And I think this, collective anger by the BJP and the Prime Minister's statement will not wash off with the public, because they know they're sitting right there in the state government.
Okay, Mr. Kesavan, you've earned the right tonight. You've earned the right tonight to score points off this coalition of contradictions. You've earned that right. I will not for a moment dispute it. Let me come to you, Sambit Patra, and pick up in a sense on what you're being told and what you're hearing from Mr. Kesavan. Yesterday, PDP spokesperson and now the Education Minister Naeem Akhtar claimed that Musarat Alam's release was envisaged in the agenda for alliance, and therefore, effectively, it's something the BJP has already agreed to when they agreed to the agenda. How do you respond to that claim?
And I believe this question has been settled in the first part of the debate itself, where you rightly pointed out the fact that 3 spokespersons and one of the top leaders of the PDP have been speaking in different voices as far as the question of release of Musarat Alam is concerned. Here in front of me is the Common Minimum Program, and nowhere in the Common Minimum Program, if you go through, Karan, you would see that there is any mention of releasing so-called prisoners who have been committed into heinous crimes. So this question dissolves itself. But look at the hypocrisy and the sage advice of the Congress party, because I have a right to rebut what Mr. Kesavan asks me. And Mr. Kesavan says that we are hypocritical. Mr. Kesavan, let me remind you of the fact that before the results were announced, I repeat, your party went with the letter of support to the PDP, to the national conferences, was trying to garner support of PDP to form a government. At least BJP and PDP had 2 months long negotiations.
No, definitely not. I'm not getting hijacked by the 2 of you scoring points at each other. I have an agenda of my own which I'm going to stick to. I want to quote to you, as an independent, objective observer, what the agenda for alliance says. And these are the exact words. The coalition government will facilitate and help initiate a sustained and meaningful dialogue with all stakeholders, which will include all political groups irrespective of their ideological views and predilections. The question I want to ask you is this: does that language actually support A, the release of political prisoners, and B, Musarat Alam in particular? Or has the PDP interpreted it somewhat one-sidedly and acted impetuously?
I think to begin with, the document, the alliance document, presumes trust between the 2 partners in the coalition. And I think that there was a lot of skepticism as to whether it would work.
But what about this language?
I think that this language does include, it has to be broad in my book, and that's why I bring up the word trust. And I think that you have to trust the Chief Minister to act in a particular way.
But does this language, in your eyes, include the release of political prisoners?
I don't know. I mean,
but you must. You're an academic.
Yes.
Stick your neck out and say yes or no.
I would say yes.
You would say yes?
Yes.
All right. You've got a very generous interpretation from Professor Siddique Waid. He believes that this language does include the release of political prisoners. I'm going to quote it to you again, Firdaus Taq, for the benefit of the audience. The coalition government will facilitate and help initiate a sustained and meaningful dialogue with all stakeholders, which will include all political groups, irrespective of their ideological views and predilections. I put it to you that language does not necessarily include the release of political prisoners, and perhaps almost certainly it wouldn't envisage the release of someone like Musarat Alam, who faces 27 criminal cases, including a case for murder and sedition. And I put it to you that you perhaps have jumped the gun, interpreted this language one-sidedly, and imposed an interpretation upon the BJP.
No, Mr. Karan, I am not able to interpret this particular clause in the CMP in any other way. The reconciliatory effort has been of a prime importance for the People's Democratic Party, and I believe that when our party leadership had an interaction with the BJP leadership at the time of formulating of agenda for alliance, things must have been made clear. The question is,
what do you
there
mean
is
things
two
must
aspects
have
of the
been made
things.
clear?
For
What do you mean by
release-
that? What do you mean things must have been made clear? Are you saying that there were things that were made clear which are
with
not
regard
in
to
the agenda,
policy
i.e. a
of-
private understanding?
No. I am saying about the interpretation of this particular clause. I am referring to the reconciliatory and peace efforts of the PDP,
Okay.
which we have been propagating, we have been believing, which we have implemented in 2002. The question of, I will go back to the Masrat Alam release. There are two aspects. One,
Quickly.
that the legal aspect, which I have already explained to you. Then we have a political aspect. Political aspect is that when we talk about the reconciliation, when we talk about strengthening of democratic setup in Jammu and Kashmir, and ensuring that the people who have reposed trust on the democracy, they are actually paid back in a democratic way.
That's your
How we are
interpretation,
going to
not
do
the
that?
BJP's.
When-
That's your
when we are-
interpretation.
when we are-
Let me,
when-
I've
No,
heard your
no,
interpretation.
that-
I'm running
no,
out
how-
of time. I want to
how
go to the
this-
BJP
how this-
spokesperson. Let me go to the BJP spokesperson. You've just heard
No,
Firdaus
Karan.
Stark say that he believes this language, I won't read it a third time, that this language clearly envisages the release of political prisoners. He also believes, as he said it, that there would have been an understanding between the two parties that this language covers the release of political prisoners, so that the ambiguity in the language isn't actually an ambiguity in intent. How do you respond to that, Sambit Patra? Your ally is saying this language clearly is meant to do what he's done.
Karan, the answer is very simple. From the very beginning, Bharatiya Janata Party has been stating that we have formed a coalition government in Jammu and Kashmir, keeping aside everything else only because we want development, peace and rehabilitation. Definitely peace means talking to all stakeholders as mentioned in the common minimum program. But that does not in any way envisage the fact that we have to talk to the people who have committed heinous crimes and behind bars. Number one. Number two, in the peace process, tell me, only 7 days has passed in this government. If you really wanted to go in for reconciliation talks, there were umpteen number of other opportunities before you go to people behind bars. Has that started? Have you talked to the people who are outside the bars that you had to rush to behind the bars? So I believe more than any of the peace process starting, there is some kind of posturing where you want to address a constituency of yours to which we are objecting and we are wanting a clarification.
Let me put this to you, because this is going to have to be the end of this particular item.
I need
No,
an
I'll come to you in a
intervention,
moment's
please. I
time, Mr.
request an
Stark.
intervention.
I want to put
Karan,
this
just
to
a
you.
word.
You're hearing the two allies clearly speaking to their respective constituencies rather than to each other. And given that they now need to convince their constituencies that they haven't reneged on their principles, is this sort of clashing, this sort of constant feuding inevitable all the way through for the next 6 years? Or do you think that after a while, one or other is going to say, enough is enough, we're out of this mess?
Well, I mean, that's a hard prediction to make, but I think it's you know, very expected that there would be these kinds of ambiguities and fights back and forth. And it's a sort of series of, I would say, small heart attacks that are taking place. And the only problem
small
is
heart attacks will kill the patient.
Too many will kill the patient. And I think that is the issue. The other thing is I want to go back to this issue of whether the language is contained in it or not. It talks about dialogue, it talks about stakeholders, it talks about groups, and it talks about ideologies, number one. If you add to that the fact that you want to get some sort of credibility from the people, and you act according to the law, because the man has been arrested, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years, he's been in prison, he obviously hasn't been tried. I don't know how long the laws permit. So even on the
there's a clear Supreme Court ruling on that. If what the Home Minister said and what Mr. Stark is saying is correct. All right. We've reached a point where you're at least convinced that the combination, both of the legal issue as well as the interpretation you give to the language of the agenda, means that this was envisaged and it is legal. Yes on both counts?
Yes.
I'm sorry I've run out of time, Mr. Stark. I can't really come back to you very quickly in 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
No, my request
Karan,
to
I just need to say this,
BJP
the
friends
BJP
my request will...
Go ahead, Mr. Stark.
Yeah,
10
my
seconds.
request to the BJP friends would
Karan,
be,
this is Keshwar.
my request to the BJP friends would be that they should not come under pressure of the Congress. Congress, which was earlier in alliance in Jammu and Kashmir, has taken the same step.
Yes, I take
and
it. That's good advice.
request to all the political parties.
I'm not going back to Mehmet. The important thing I want to
BJP is playing
highlight for the
politics
audience
over national
is
security.
that we've
It's
heard for
unfortunate.
the first time today from a PDP spokesperson something that in a sense was half said by the Home Minister but not fully, that Mufti Sahab's hands were tied by a Supreme Court ruling. He had no option but to release Masrat Alam. It wasn't a decision he took of his own wanting although he may have wanted to, but he had no option but to take it. Otherwise, he would have been in breach of a Supreme Court ruling. You've said it for the first time, sadly. That's not what Naeem Akhtar and Mehbooba Mufti have said earlier. We'll take your word for that as the truth. It changes the picture entirely. My thanks to all my guests for joining me.